Hello everybody. So this is the third and the final part of our tutorial series Ajax Pagination, and back here in the code, now we had to integrate the database to our Ajax Pagination. So to do that, we need two values, that is to set limit, that is start and the end record, okay, to be retrieved from our database. And for that, first we had to calculate the start record, right? So for that, back here in the pagination.js file, here right after the current page, we can do anywhere we want, it's fine as long as it is within our function pagination. Okay, it should be inside the function pagination. So we need like data of start record. Okay, so this value we can receive from a function start record. Okay, and it's going to take data as argument, so we have to create this function now. Okay, start record. I'll scroll this to the bottom. We already have enough functions here. It's going to be function of start record, right? And so to get the start record, we need two parameters, that is current page. Okay, so current page equal to, remember we have a function to do that, we discussed in the last video of this tutorial series. So it's going to be current page of data. So this will give us the current page, and the next parameter we need is total records. Okay, sorry, it's not total records, it's going to be total pages. Okay, so even for that we have a function total pages. We're just reusing this function again and again, right? And now to calculate our start record, we're going to use if condition, that is if current page is equal to nothing, if it is not set, or current page less than 1, right, or current page greater than total pages. In all these scenarios we want to display the first record, so we are going to set current page equal to 1 here, and start record is going to be 0, because in database 0 is the first record, right? If we are going to retrieve like 5 rows from a database table, it starts from 0 and ends with 4. Okay, so it's going to be always 0, and then we are going to return the start record. So that's how this is going to work. If that is not the case, then we can calculate our start record with a simple formula, that is going to be current page into records per page, sorry about that, records per page minus records per page. This way we can calculate the start record effectively. Okay, then we just need to return the start record, right? Okay, so this is all we had to do with calculating the start record. This is the function. So we are going to get that value back here in our function pagination, right? Where is that? Yeah, here we get that in data of start record, right? So now we are ready to displaying the data for our pagination, and to do that we had to create a function pagination data. Okay, again we are going to pass the same data as argument. So let's create this function now, that is pagination data, right? So let's scroll this to the bottom of the page. It's going to be function pagination data, and there we had to check whether we have records per page and start record set. Okay, and that we can calculate from the top here. Okay, so you can copy from here. So where is that records per page? I have set this here, that is records per page. We don't have to return this false here because we are already doing enough checking. We don't even need to have this else statement. And another thing we have to check is, I'll copy this. Okay, so we have to check for start record, for which we created a function now, right? So we are going to check whether this is available, and if it is there, we are going to, we don't need this console statement. This is going to be start record, right? So our variable is going to be start. Okay, and that is not the case. We don't need this line, but still we will keep this for safety. Okay, we'll put start as 0. And another thing we could do is, again I'll copy this. We need to check for pagination data. Okay, pagination data, and if you are wondering what is that, wait a minute, I'll explain to you. So I'll copy this here, pagination data, right? So back here in Ajax pagination, did you see this part here, pagination data, and we're giving a div with id display underscore data, that is our pagination contents from database had to be displayed here in this div. Okay, that is how we had set all the pagination stuff. Okay, so it's not a big deal. Back here in our pagination.js file, we're just checking that. Okay, now I hope you guys got an idea why we are using that. It's because we need a div to display that, right? If that is not the case, we can display an error here, that is pagination data element not configured. Now after doing all this initial checks, we had to display the actual data from the database, right? Which means we had to make a Ajax call. So let's write the Ajax function here. So first we need to give URL. So URL is going to be database.php. We had to create this file. Okay, so don't get freaked out. And type, we are going to use get. You can even use post, it's totally up to us. And then we are going to pass some arguments, right? URL values, that's going to be records per page, and the value for that comes from here. Okay, records per page. So nothing much to explain here. And then we also need start. Okay, and start is going to come from this variable here, start. So it's going to be start, and then data type, we need that whole format in JSON. Okay, that's better for manipulation, the front end. So then before send, before send is a function which we can use to execute something before the Ajax call is made, just before the Ajax call is made. Okay, for that what I'm going to do is, guys, remember this pagination data, right? And this actually comes from this display area, right? This pagination data, so it's display area. So I'm going to, where is that? Here. I'm going to copy this and use that as a selector. Okay, then I'll do append, or we could even do like HTML. It's fine, we could do whatever we want. Okay, we'll do just append for now. It's up to you whether if you use HTML, it's going to delete anything in that div and directly display a message. Okay, so I'm going to use a class called load. Okay, and then display message loading. We'll close this span. We're just displaying a message that our Ajax content is loading, that's all. And this function will execute just before the Ajax call is made, right? So once the Ajax is complete, Ajax call is over, we have a function called complete, and inside that we are going to remove that load element. Okay, element with class load. So if you're wondering where we got that element, here while loading we are giving an element span, right, with class load, so it will be removed. And so then if Ajax call is success, we have a function for that as well. And response is the place where we are going to have all the data for our pagination. Okay, and then we'll do something like console.log response. Okay, so this should be the data from the database. So before going through that, we had to create this function database.php. okay, so we'll create that now. Database.php, and for database connection code, I'm going to open this row count. Okay, you could copy that from here. Okay, that's it. So we'll paste that here. So this is our database connection code, right? This try catch with all these constants. Okay, and inside here we had to write our actual connection code. Before that, we had to do some primary checking. Okay, what we're going to do for that is we are going to check if I set get, these are URL variables, right? So it's going to be records per page. So we're checking whether it is set. Okay, this URL value is set. I set get, this time is going to be start. And if you're wondering from where, I'm going to close this at the end here. Okay, and if you're wondering from where did we get these two things, back here in pagination.js, you can see here we are making an Ajax call with records per page and start, right? These are the URL variables. So we are checking whether it is set. If it is set, then further code will be executed, or else nothing happens, right? So because everything is in the if condition. So the way we are going to handle this now is by, first we'll do, this is records per page, right? So after this connection is made, I'm going to paste this here, and I'm going to assign this to a variable records per page. Likewise, it's start, right? So it's going to be start, and this is going to be get start. So we assign this to a variable, and now back here in our mysql query, it's going to be select star from feedback, and then it's going to be order by feedback ID. Okay, and we want that in descending order because latest record has to come in the top. Okay, then limit is going to be star, so it's a variable star, and the number of records we need to display is in records per page. Okay, that's it. We execute this query, we should get all the data, right? We don't need to think about this row count. We'll remove this if statement. So we are executing the query here, right? And after that I'll put this as result. Okay, so we have result here, and what I'm going to do is fetch that in a row. Okay, a variable called row, that is going to be result of fetch or. Okay, because we need everything in associative array, so it's going to be pdo fetch associative. Okay, so we get the data in associative format, and then that data we are going to encode. Okay, echo as JSON, because remember we want the whole thing in JSON format, right? So we have the result in rows, and we converted that to JSON using the function JSON underscore encode. Okay, so this should give us the result from the database in JSON format. You can see here the Ajax call, we are requesting for JSON type of data, right? So the result is in rows, and that is encoded to JSON format and echoed. Okay, we can't return it, so it has to be echoed. So back here we have console.log, right? Data has to be in console. Now let's take a look. So back here I made a spelling mistake here, it should be res, right? So it should be response, and we can test this out now. We got an object here, right? And if we open this object, we have object 1 and 2, and inside that we have all our details, right? So we are displaying only 2 records per page, so we got 2 rows. Okay, we got everything from the database here with table name. You can see here feedback date, ID, name. So this is how we get in JSON format. So the answer database result is in the variable response now, right? So we could do response each loop. This is a loop. Okay, looping function, and we'll give something like index here. And then so we could do console.log and response index of, and we need to give the field name here. As you can see here we got this feedback field names, right? Name, feedback, ID, date. Could give anything. I'll give name for now, so it's going to be name. Okay, so we're displaying 2 records in each page in our pagination, so we should get 2 pages now. Let's test that out. When I refresh the page here, you can see here we got 2 names, Soumya and Jack, right? So it's working now. Now I'm guys, all we had to do is just display that back here in this data of pagination data, right, which is actually a div with here id of display underscore data. Here we had to display that data. Okay, so we had to display like what, feedback date, feedback person name, and content, right? So I'm just going to copy and paste some code here. Okay, so what we had to do now is to use the selector. Okay, it's going to be pagination underscore data, right? It's a variable. And if you're wondering from where we're getting that, again, once again, here we're getting from this part, right? Data of pagination data, which is back here in our Ajax underscore pagination main file. You can see here pagination data, and that is going to be a div with id display underscore data. Here we had to display our contents from the database here, right? So it is available here, which we got to this variable here, pagination underscore data, right? So that's .html, and I'm going to copy and paste some code here, and don't worry about that, it's basic thing. So you can see here what I did is add some Twitter Bootstrap div with panels. Okay, these are panels from Twitter Bootstrap. You can just copy from their site. Okay, or you can create your own div with class, and you can write your own CSS. Okay, and you can see here I'm giving posted by as, using this concatenation. We are using variable results, right? That is response of index dot name, that is person name. Then posted on, I'm giving this feedback date, and here we are giving the feedback itself. All these are field names, right? Feedback name, date, and all. You can see here all these comes from here, these objects, right? So let's test this now. I'm going to refresh this page now. It's loading, right? Okay, to end the statement here. Alright guys, we got the data displayed here, and we'll go to second page now. Okay, we have something wrong here on line 178. Okay, it's saying records per page. There is a spelling mistake here, so we'll go there. What's going to be 178? Okay, here. I will test this again. I'll go to second page. Alright guys, I made a mistake here. It should be append. Okay, so what happens is it is a conditional loop, right? So after displaying the first data, if we do HTML, it's going to overwrite, right? So we had to give append here. Okay, and another thing is it's better to have clear that div area with nothing. You can see here I added this line pagination underscore data dot html. Okay, so I'm just clearing that div from any other contents, and then we are just appending. Okay, so what happens is in the loop first execution we are going to get the first row, and second time we are going to get the second loop, second result. So we have to always use append. We cannot use HTML here. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay, we got loading status and we got two data. And if I go to page 2, so guys, I made a grave mistake here. Here back in the function start record, this should be greater than. Okay, so this current page is less than 1, or it's nothing, or even if it is greater than total pages, we have to set the current page to 1. previously I gave this as less than symbol. In that condition you'll never reach to this else statement. Okay, so I'll save this and we'll test this out again. And we got the loading status and we got data display. We'll go for the next one. Yeah, it's changing, right? So guys, let me explain this whole code once again. So back here in Ajax underscore pagination, first thing we're doing is requiring a file row count, which actually returns the total number of rows from our database, and it is stored in the variable total records. Then we are having this array here with all the parameters needed, and then we are calling the function pagination, right, which is in pagination.js. So back here, now what happens is, first we are checking for total records and records per page. If it is not there, we'll return the false. Function is false, right? That is not the case. We are calling two function, total pages and current page, right? And this total page is calculated from records per page. Let me show you that. Records per page divided by, total records divided by records per page. And to make sure there is no floating point value, we are using math.ceil function. Likewise in current page, we are checking whether this is set. If it is not set, it is 1. Okay, if it is set, we'll just return that current page. So how we set this data of current page, which is really crucial, and let me explain that to you guys here. Can see here, when we click on any active link here in current page, we are just getting the HTML of that page link, which is actually a page number, and we are setting that here, right? So that's how we get the current page, data of current page. Okay, when we click on something, it happens. And then back here, we are also calculating the start record, right? So the start record is right here, which we already took a look here, right? It is basically 0, but we use this formula. Okay, if we are navigating to the pages in our pagination, that is current page into records per page minus records per page. This is the key here. And after that, we are calling a function here by name position, which will give here, can see here current position of the page and total number of pages. That's a simple calculation. And then we have pagination control, which displays all these controls here. And then this pagination data, which we just did now, we are making an Ajax call here, right? Using these URL parameters here. This is the function, right? And that is done. The Ajax call is made to database.php, and here it's checking for these two URL values. If it is there, we are setting the limit, right? Start and records per page. This is where the record starts, and this is going to be the total number of rows to be returned from database. Okay, so with this I'm concluding this tutorial series, Ajax pagination, and I'll see you guys in the next part. If you have any queries, just don't hesitate to ask me. And guys, please subscribe to our channel and also like this video as well. Thanks for your time.